Thank you very much. The Buccaneers won the toss and deferred. They want to kick off. Kaepernick, of course, started in Buffalo in the win. We'll go over those numbers in a moment. But each team without their star running back, Doug Martin, that's his high school principal, Pete Morelli, who is our referee today from Stockton, California, and Carlos Hyde, the leading running back with a shoulder injury for the 49ers, so he is out of the game as well. A lot more pressure on the quarterbacks to make plays.
And Chris, I think this is a game where both quarterbacks are going to have to perform and win for their respective teams. If San Francisco tries to load the box, Jameis Winston's got to win. If the Buccaneers load the box and say you're not going to run the ball, Colin Kaepernick's going to have to throw it, and they have not been very good at it so far this year.
Week 7, Buccaneers 49ers. Aguayo kicking off and through the end zone, so the 49er offense takes over at the 25-yard line. Kaepernick 13 of 29, 187 yards, ran for 66 yards in a windy Buffalo when he got the start last week. And against a Buccaneer defense that, as Rondé mentioned in the open of the program, has Gerald McCoy, the 4-time Pro Bowler, coming off the calf injury, up front to help the Bucs, and Mike Davis, the starting running back, with Hyde out of the lineup. That's Quentin Patton in motion. And Kaepernick will keep and go out of bounds. There was not much of a fan reaction here. His first home start in exactly a year, as we look at what the 49ers have to work with on offense. Jeremy Curley, who connected so well with Blaine Gabbert when he was added to the team. A healthier Vance McDonald should help in the offensive line up front with the veteran left tackle, Joe Staley. Mike Davis straight ahead, gets a first down. Stopped just short of the 40-yard line. William Goldston coming off of his 2 best games. And what about this Buccaneer defense?
Well, Gerald McCoy's got to be the penetrator up front. Mike Smith's scheme requires a defensive tackle to create disruption. They have that. 2 good linebackers. Keep an eye on this rookie corner, Vernon Hargraves, on the outside.
Incomplete, intended for Quentin Patton. And here comes a flag. It was late. Check the head and neck area.
I think that's exactly what this penalty is going to be.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit on a defensive receiver, 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
And Chris Connie, you'll see him coming into your screen this way on Patton here, and yes, that's the right call. Protected under the rules, above the neck.
Sean Drone in at running back after the penalty gives the 49ers the first down. McDonald has it, and he gets down to the 22-yard line. Back after missing a couple of games with a hip injury, capable of making big plays.
Well, we talked about San Francisco having to run the football. Well, 3 of their first 4 plays here have been passes. And you know Chip Kelly's offense, you get a big play, they're coming right to the line of scrimmage.
Kaepernick still has it. Throws, the defender fell down. Torrey Smith stood up to grab it for a first and goal, 49ers.
Yeah, good eyes out there, Chris, and Brent Grimes covering Torrey Smith. Slick field, gets a little turnaround, and another nice delivery by Colin Kaepernick. Ball's out on time. If he's able to do this all day, might see the emergence of this San Francisco offense.
From the 4-yard line, opening drive, first and goal with Mike Davis, the running back. And Davis is in the end zone for a touchdown. Some great ball faking by Kaepernick.
Well, this offense has not looked very efficient. That was about as efficient drive I've ever seen. Watch your right guard right here. It's the rookie, Garnett. Inside zone read, playing off the tackle. Good movement up front. And just an easy touchdown for the 49ers.
His first touchdown this season. The second-year running back getting quite a workout on that drive. He had only 10 carries coming in, and the extra point. Somehow Phil Dawson got it up and through. Started out looking a little ugly, but for 49er fans, this looks good. An early 7-0 lead over Tampa Bay.
Sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
"75 yards in less than 2 minutes, and Mike Davis, his first career NFL touchdown. Kaepernick 2 out of 2, and of course they had a big pass interference penalty on the drive, and Chip Kelly's team leading 7-0. That personal foul actually helped set up the drive. So Ryan Smith back to receive for the Buccaneers. Bradley Pinion, the punter, does some of the kicking off with Phil Dawson, and Smith is coming out of the end zone. He hesitated, and that's a win for the 49ers on special teams. Pinned inside the 15-yard line where the Buccaneer offense will take over. Jameis Winston, in 2013, youngest player ever to win the Heisman, 19 years, 342 days. Bucs made him the first overall selection in the draft. He went to the Pro Bowl, and his 4,042 yards, third most by a rookie quarterback all time. 22 touchdown passes, fourth most by a rookie. This year, of the 12 touchdowns the Bucs have scored, Winston responsible for 10 of them. Jaquiz Rodgers, the back. He gets the football. And with veteran Vincent Jackson out with an injury, Cecil Shorts, the one-time Jag, briefly with Houston last year, has missed the last 4 games with a hamstring, gets the start opposite Mike Evans. And on the offensive line, Kevin Pamphile has played very well.
He really has, and this is a consistent unit. All 5 starters have been in place this entire year. They got some big defensive linemen to take care of today. You know they're going to emphasize the run. Let's see what Jameis Winston and this offense comes up with now.
Blitz threatens. Jaquiz Rodgers gets through it, gets a first down up near the 30. Picking up where he left off when the Buccaneers beat the Panthers on Monday night when he had 30 touches and 101 yards rushing. And against a defense, as we look at, that, as you talked about, has been run on. In fact, their defensive coordinator said last week against Buffalo, frankly, was embarrassing.
Well, individually, they have some really good parts to this defense. Collectively, though, Chris, they have struggled, especially at the linebacker position, making tackles. That'll be a factor again today, I think.
Rodgers picks up 11. Gets the football again. And gets another first down up across the 40-yard line. This is his 7th NFL start in his 6th season. And he told us he, at 5'6", even looks smaller. He said, I'm always used to being the other running back, the second running back. Well, now he's in the starring role.
Well, 2 weeks ago on Monday night, they opened the game with 6 straight runs, and I think it sets an attitude for this team. I would not be surprised if they continue to do this. This 49ers defense has to prove that they're going to stop it before they put the ball in Jameis Winston's hands. Anton
Smith, former teammate of his, in the backfield. He was just added to the team. He gets across the 46-yard line. And there were no turnovers in that win for Jameis Winston and the Buccaneers on offense against that Carolina team.
Well, this is the stat, and you talked about Jim O'Neill, defensive coordinator here in San Francisco, talking about the embarrassment. Well, that was the embarrassment. Buffalo did whatever they wanted to. They weren't able to contain the quarterback as well. Jameis Winston, a different type of player, but this run game is definitely going to be an emphasis today.
Rodgers trying to get to midfield and held back at the Tampa Bay 49-yard line. Jaquiz Rodgers, who for years in Atlanta was a backup, and then briefly with Chicago. Him and Anton Smith were together there with the Bears and in Atlanta. But he's now the lead back because Charles Sims is out injured, and Doug Martin had a setback coming off that hamstring injury.
He's one of those guys, Chris, that he's small but not little, you know, and he's really hard to find in the backfield. You're looking through the line here, you can't see him.
Rodgers fighting hard to midfield with Tremaine Brock. He said toughness was his greatest attribute.
Well, toughness and leverage, right? When you're 5'6", there's not many guys that are going to get underneath you to knock you back, and that's almost exactly what happens here. How little this guy is, but look at these powerful legs. Just drive Tremaine Brock, and it looks like he's got enough or close enough where the Bucs are going to think about going for this.
On 4th down, they're going to line up that way. spotted on the 49er side of the midfield stripe. And off straight ahead into a crowd, Peyton Barber, the rookie free agent from Auburn.
Well, they're marking this. I don't think that he got it, and it's tough sledding again with this defensive line of San Francisco. There are some big defensive linemen in there, and Eric Armstead and DeForest Buckner.
Well, interesting that Dirk Cutter, after having Rodgers run so well and Smith come in, that he'd throw Barber in on a 4th and 1.
Well, this will be a huge stop if this is indeed not a first down for Tampa. Now, the 49ers,
they're going to bring a measurement out here, Rondé.
49ers have played close numerous times this year, and the faster they get off to, the better start they get off to, I should say, severely benefits them. And yes, it is a turnover on downs for San Francisco.
And the two things we talked about that have been a 49er problem, that offense, well, they struck in a hurry, and the defense that you said had to correct itself. A big stop on 4th down. San Francisco takes over. All that talk about Jameis Winston, he didn't even throw a pass. So the Buccaneers opening drive, they fail on 4th and 1 after running and running. So the 49er defense does its job after the offense put them up 7-0. First down for Kaepernick. Plenty of time in the pocket and incomplete for Vance McDonald.
Well, here's an observation about this 49ers offense, Chris. Last week, Colin Kaepernick gets the start, comes out really fast. I think he completed 11 of his first throws, and then they started to show chinks in the armor when they got behind. It got out of control. I think it helps them. Early turnover on downs. They can come down here and score again. See some more confidence out of this offense.
Mike Davis, fake to Kaepernick keeps as he slides, picking up a few yards. Let's get a game break and check in for the first time with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks. Hi, Chris. San Diego at Atlanta opening drive for the Chargers. 7 plays, 75 yards, and Melvin Gordon walks this one in. Chargers up 7-0. Send it back to Chris, Rondé, and Ken.
All right, thank you. The Buccaneers started the season with a win over the Atlanta Falcons. Rams lost today to the Giants over in England. 3rd down and 7 now. From the pocket, on the move. Here comes a flag. Pass is dropped. Torrey Smith couldn't hold it.
Holding. Number 65 offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
That's on rookie Joshua Garnett, the rookie from Stanford. So decline the penalty because the pass was incomplete. And Bradley Pinion on for the first punt of this game. In his second season, the 5th round pick from Clemson. Sun may be in the eyes. Adam Humphries, the returner, a high short kick, waving everybody away. It bounces beautifully for the 49ers down to the 10-yard line where it is down. And again, the Buccaneers, who started their last drive deep in their own territory, that's where they will start once again, trailing 7-0.
Game is sponsored by Chevrolet. More 2016 J.D. Power Dependability Awards than any other brand. By McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by Pepsi. Every football moment deserves a celebration. Break out the Pepsi.
Rooftop garden here at the stadium in Santa Clara. Rondé Barber, Chris Myers. Glad you're watching the NFL on Fox. Second possession, they ran it every down last time. Winston to throw and has time. But he goes down at the 10-yard line. Hit all day. Couldn't find anybody before Eric Armstead got the sack, his 3rd of the year.
Interesting why Jameis Winston didn't just throw that ball away and take the ball out. But I got to tell you, this offense, Chris, last week, or 2 weeks ago, I'm sorry, really emphasized the run. Without a Vincent Jackson in this lineup, it's going to be on a Cecil Shorts or Adam Humphries, some guys to step up. because I think the 49ers are going to do their best to take Mike Evans out of this football game.
Saw the first quarter struggles for the second-year quarterback, Jameis Winston.
Go.
2nd and 11. Open on target to Evans. Pass was a little bit underthrown, but a gain all the way up to the 40.
I got to tell you what, I'm not sure what this defense was. Mike Evans right here in the slot, really just covered up by Ahmad Brooks. And then look at this hole behind the secondary, and no safety there. Eric Reed is late to recover. Big gain for the Bucs.
He's had at least 5 catches in all 5 games this year, and expect him to get more, and they'll move him around a lot, especially with Vincent Jackson out.
They'll have to, because some of these guys haven't seen a lot of snaps on offense, and more pressure on the young second-year wide receiver.
Winston in trouble here, gets away, and on the run, throws, pass is caught by Rodgers. Ahmad Brooks was chasing him.
Holding. Number 76, offense, 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
So that call on Donovan Smith.
It's hard to blame Donovan Smith. He's going to be your left tackle up here. The quarterback's running around so long, and Ahmad Brooks has him in his grasp. Jameis Winston, great job getting out of that, but just too long for the offensive tackle to have to try to contain a good edge rusher, and that was Aaron Lynch.
Donovan Smith's second year from Penn State. It's not all bad. His Nittany Lions with a major upset of Ohio State yesterday, at least for him.
You go to 51.
The penalty
Go.
from the 31-yard line. Jaquiz Rodgers powering his way up to about the 37.5-yard line.
Now that missed sack right there for San Francisco, it's somewhat indicative of what's been going on this defense. Just missed opportunities. Got enough talent on this defense to really be good. And you know how they started the year blanking, shut out in week 1. But since then, just missed opportunity after missed opportunity. It's really contributed to their 5-game losing streak.
Anton Smith in the backfield.
Go.
And the pass overthrown. Winston was trying to get to him. Smith was signed by the Buccaneers on Monday. He was cut by the Jets at the end of the preseason in his 7th season from Florida State. And it's a 3rd and 13. Jameis Winston just getting used to who some of his teammates are.
He talks about the pressure that he tries to put on himself. When you don't have that practice time, it's difficult. And you can see, even on 3rd and long here, coming out with only 2 wide receivers, emphasizing protecting their quarterback.
Protection on 3rd down. Open in the clear. Falling down is Anton Smith. And he'll reach, but be a yard short of the first down. Anton Bethea, who leads the team in tackles, made an important one there. And this time the Bucs don't think about going for it.
Well, Anton Smith's got to stay on his feet here. This is a big first down. And again, he's going to end up in the flat here, and nobody is covering him. You can tell they're playing man-to-man at the top of the screen there. But just a blown assignment. Anton Smith had a chance, but good tackle by Bethea to get them off the field.
4th and a yard and a half, so Brian Anger, who has done a good job of flipping the field. This punt team for the Bucs, Jeremy Curley, standing inside the 10 of San Francisco. High short kick. Fair catch called for. And inside the 15 is when the 49er offense will take over with a 7-0 lead. Cutter up for consideration for the 49er head coaching job before he was promoted from offensive coordinator to the Bucs head coaching job. And Chip Kelly, a few years ago, offered, or at least a discussion, to take over the Buccaneers, but stayed in college and then a year later joined the Eagles.
That was my last year before when we hired Shiana. Chip Kelly was, I thought he was taking the job. Instead went to Philly and now he's here.
Juwan Harris, his first carry of the day as he gets across the 15, promoted from the practice squad after the injury to Hyde. He had been on their practice squad since October, 4 games on the active roster, and actually finished the end of last year running rather well in a couple of games, averaging over 5 yards a carry.
He's a guy they really like. He's got good lateral movement, Chip Kelly told us too, Chris, that he has to have 3 backs up. He likes to play all 3. Get a good dose of 32 today.
And he gets the carry again. He's only 5'7" as he gets across the 20-yard line.
You can see what they like about him. He's got great lateral movement, change of direction. And, you know, I was talking to Tom Rathman, their running back coach, before the game. And this is what he said. If this kid learns to get north and south, that running style that they love of the 49ers, he could be an effective player. Saw it right there.
Third down and 2, and Harris gets the first down for the 49ers.
Good combination of inside and outside zone read type plays here. You saw the one where Kaepernick kept it earlier, and this is the inside zone read. You're trying to play off one player on the inside. Kaepernick makes the right decision, hands it off, gets the first down.
Kaepernick 2 out of 4 through the air. He's run it twice. Mike Davis has the game's only touchdown. On first down, it's Juan Harris with a lot of running room, and Harris gets another first down up around the 43 of San Francisco before Levante David made the tackle.
Great play by Vance McDonald. Tight end, not really involved in the passing game, but you're going to see him right here. That down block, and Staley on the pull, knocks out Vernon Hargraves. Big running lane, first down.
Now Mike Davis in at running back after a pickup of 18. Davis trying to turn the corner and brought down at the 41-yard line.
There's been some issues on this Bucs defense containing the edge, setting the edge of the defense. Saw it on the previous play. Try to get to the edge again on that play. Good job by that Bucs defense stringing that out for the tackle for loss.
A loss of 2.
And William Golston, a defensive end, number 92 for the Bucs. Been one of the more consistent players. The only starter on this unit that has played every single game this year. He's going to have a big day containing this run game.
Clinton McDonald out with a hamstring injury. Robert Ayers, who again they thought would help with the pass rush, has been out for quite a few of their games and out again today. Kaepernick's throw is batted incomplete. Noah Spence making the play.
Really athletic football player here. You know, we had these guys in the preseason, and combination of Gerald McCoy, Robert Ayers, who has been hurt, and Noah Spence looked like they were going to be a dynamic kind of trio, but really haven't seen much production from the rookie. And today he's going to be working on Joe Staley a lot on this right side, see if he's able to get after the quarterback.
Second round pick from Eastern Kentucky. Who only had 2 tackles in 5 games. Now 3rd and 12. Extra pressure coming on Kaepernick, and he's going to be thrown down at the 32 by Golston.
Well, sometimes you create sacks, sometimes they're created for you, and you'll see the pressure on the outside push Colin Kaepernick up into the pocket, and William Golston's right here, ends up with the sack, but watch the pressure from the other side. It's Howard Jones, guy, just a designated pass rusher on this team, pushes him out. You got 92 there, the guy we were just speaking about, finishing off with a sack.
Bradley Pinion. Humphreys, fair catch of the sun, and has it. He's been Mr. Reliable as a slot receiver and return man for the Bucs, who have the football trailing 7-0. Dirk Cutter from offensive coordinator with then the rookie Jameis Winston, now the head coach with his second-year quarterback.
And Jameis is fighting his nature, trying to turn around and hand the ball off. You know he wants to throw it, wants to win it on the strength of his arm, but I think they're smart protecting him and turning around and handing this football off to start this football game.
And that's what they did to Quiz Rogers. You asked Dirk Cutter, who was, of course, in Atlanta with Matt Ryan, successful in Jacksonville, if it was against his nature not to come out throwing the football.
Oh, he'll claim that he's just trying to find ways to win, and running a football is that, but we all know you got a quarterback with this kind of talent, it's really fighting that nature to turn around and hand it off. You know he wants to throw it. You know Jameis wants to throw it. But Chris, this team was #1 in the league a couple of weeks ago in pass attempts, and that's just Jameis Winston's just not ready to handle that kind of pressure.
Anton Smith checks in at running back.
Go.
2nd and 5, time for Jameis Winston, and knocked away because he had Mike Evans in the clear, but Nick Bellore got his hands on the football.
And Nick Ballore, really good play here. He's right here in the middle of your screen. Long developing route, as a lot of Tampa Bay's passing game is, but look at him read the eyes. Jameis Winston kind of telegraphed that play, and he's an inch taller. It's probably an interception.
Mike Evans, bottom of your screen. Jaquiz Rogers, the back. Adam Humphries to the left in the slot on 3rd and 5 for the Bucs. Winston again for Evans, and it's intercepted. Coming away with the deflection and the takeaway, Gerald Hodges.
They survived that win last week.
And that is Mike Evans in pain.
They survived last week 2 weeks ago without any turnovers. And you're going to see Mike Evans.
Also Jimmy Ward down for the 49ers.
You're going to see Mike Evans take a shot here after this interception. This should have been a penalty. You cannot crack back on a defender, go into your end zone. And
wow.
Actually, I take that back. That was actually a good block.
It's just a tough hit.
He's a defensive receiver. He can't hit the head and neck area, and Jimmy Ward actually hits him right in the gut, and that's why he's down.
49ers with the interception. Medical staff checking on Mike Evans over on the Bucs sideline.
And when I originally saw this, I thought it was an illegal block, but that is picture perfect by the defender on the interception. Defensive player, but right where he's supposed to be.
Sean Drone, the running back.
Go!
Kaepernick throws, end zone, ball caught, touchdown, Sean Drone.
Well, this is what Colin Kaepernick brings you. Just the ability to extend the play, and him stepping out of this pocket and trying to throw the football is an advancement for him as a quarterback. Usually you'd see him pull this down and run, but he keeps his eyes down the field, delivers a good ball on a well-covered receiver, and touchdown again for San Francisco. All set up by a great interception by the 49ers defense. Good capitalizing by the offense on the next play.
Buccaneers worst in the NFL with 51 points allowed off giveaways as the field communicator, all scoring plays reviewed, so it comes through. Once he gives the thumbs up, it was ruled a touchdown on the field. Possession of the ball, feet in. Going to the ground, does he protect the ball? The official's right there. And the booth making sure.
I don't think there's any question that's going to stand as a touchdown, but you know, the bigger picture there is, again, the momentum of this 49ers team right now. So many questions about them last week on defense. You got Colin Kaepernick coming in playing quarterback in his second game. He looks efficient throwing the football, making smart decisions, and they're off to a early 14-0 lead, assuming this extra point is good.
Touchdown pass last week for Kaepernick in the wind in Buffalo, and he gets one here with 8 seconds remaining in the opening quarter.
You want to talk Bucs too, Chris. This is a struggle on the road coming out west. It's just been an issue for them their entire existence. But one thing we know they can't do on the road is turn the football over.
And then the mobility of Kaepernick allowed Drone, the running back, to get downfield.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Kaepernick to Sean Drone, and Phil Dawson out for the extra point to give Chip Kelly a 14-0 lead here. Dawson has not missed an extra point this season. At age 41, he once again nails it. There's a flag down.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, leverage, number 93 of the defense. The extra point is good. The penalty be enforced on the kickoff.
So that call is against Gerald McCoy.
See him over here. I'm sorry, on this side. Just can't use leverage. You cannot use a player on their team or your team to vault yourself over. And I mean, that was kind of a touchy penalty. I don't think that he used them to vault himself over. Kind of just stepped through. But of course, I've seen that call more times this year than I didn't even know what the penalty was. But I've seen it at least 3 or 4 times here in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, the league seemed to be cracking down not only the leaping, but the leveraging, players finding ways to lean on somebody. But for the 49ers, Kaepernick's first home start since October of last year. Opening drive, they run it in, and here Kaepernick on the move. The only place he could really put it was there in the arms of Sean Drone, who did an excellent job of keeping his feet in, holding on to the football as he went to the ground. And 14-0. 49ers trying to end a 5-game losing streak. Phil Dawson now to kick off with the penalty from midfield. So he's going to kick it short enough. Could have been downed, and now it's too late. And an excellent special teams play by the 49ers to pin the returner down inside the 6-yard line.
Well, I got to tell you, that's great special teams play by the 49ers. Put in Phil Dawson, who's not the strong leg kicker. Puts it to the goal line, forces Ryan Smith to come out with the football, and then just buries him inside the 5-yard line.
You can see the hesitation from Ryan Smith here about coming out of the end zone or not. He wasn't sure, and then once he did, it was too late.
Yeah, Phil Dawson's a great directional kicker. The coverage was even better, and the Buccaneers are backed up again. Start a drive.
Mike Evans is back in on 1st and 10 after he took that block. Jaquiz Rogers, tough running, gets up across the 11-yard line, and that'll bring an end to the opening quarter that has been all 49ers. The return of Kaepernick at home after a turnover, touchdown pass, and it's 14-0 San Francisco. Out of the second quarter, Jaquiz Rogers, 48 rushing yards. That's the good news for Tampa Bay as he gets the football again, and a healthy gain as he gets a first down.
Well, even down 14 points, I don't think they're going to come off their game plan trying to run the football, especially in these backed up situations. We saw, obviously, the last possession, the interception. Rashard Robinson, great coverage on Mike Evans, forced that interception. And I think they got to not chase the game yet. It's still early in this football game. They got to get a drive going. I think they're going to do it on the legs of their running back.
And as I mentioned, Evans back, and Jimmy Ward, who just came back after missing 3 games with a quad injury, remains out. He was the 49er who got caught up on that interception return. Peyton Barber gets the carry. He's the one who failed on 4th and a yard on the first possession for Tampa Bay.
Well, really credit to this defense. You know, Jim O'Neill, a guy I really like, just has that demeanor, the right demeanor as a defensive coordinator. He really trying to find a way to galvanize his football team, and so far today it seems like they're answering his call.
Joe Holley, the starting center, who had been bothered by a knee problem, is now slow to get up, so Evan Smith would likely come in as he heads to the sideline.
Evan Smith was the starter going into last year, lost his job to injury, and Howley has been starting ever since. And one of the benefits of having a guy like Evan Smith, he has position versatility. He can play center and guard. You know what you're getting out of him.
Evan Smith wears 62, the former Packer, now in at center on 2nd down 8. Jameis Winston, the quick pass complete. Falling forward, Cameron Brate, one of the 4 tight ends that are up and active for this Bucs team today.
It's a 2 tight end offense generally, and you know, without Vincent Jackson, you're not going to see as many 3 wide receiver sets. You're going to see 2 tight ends. We call it ace or 11 personnel, whatever you want to call it. With Luke Stocker being back, it adds that dimension to this offense.
So they go without a huddle on 1st and 10. That was enough for the first down. Hesitation, looked like a mix-up. And Winston's going to have to just run out of bounds. chased from the snap. Eli Harold. And making it clear, the ball went out of bounds outside the line of scrimmage. With Winston, no intentional grounding there. 2nd down 10, but the 49er defense with a big stop on 4th down, an interception, a takeaway to set up a touchdown. They've been in control of this game, other than stopping Jaquiz Rogers. Peyton Barber remains the back.
White 25! Watch about that! Sunday!
Here comes a flag and a delay.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
Now, one official is saying they called timeout. He's saying
before the play clock went out, Tampa Bay called timeout. Timeout, Tampa Bay, first team timeout.
So, yeah. So Pete Borelli, the official, came over to him and said, no, they beat the play clock, and looks like Joe Howley is coming back in after going out with an injury at center for the Bucs.
Sponsored by the all-new 2017 Ford Super Duty. This is the next level. By DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
A look inside the stadium, remembering the great tradition of the 49ers and the Fall Classic. History will be made. Cubs Indians best of 7 as they start in Cleveland. Coverage Tuesday. The FS1 pregame show 7 Eastern, then at Fox 7:30 Eastern, and the World Series on Fox, or you can always catch it on Fox Sports Go. Jameis Winston throws and completes to Evans, who gets a first down across the 40-yard line. Jameis Winston, by the way, drafted by of course, a baseball player at Florida State, the Texas Rangers, and also made it a point during the off week to go see in Washington, D.C. Wanted to see Clayton Kershaw perform in a pressure situation. Said he was impressed in that Dodgers National Series.
Oh, he's going to need to find a way to perform under pressure today as well. And, you know, he told us, too, that that baseball background allows him to throw some of those funny angle arm throws. Actually made one right there to Mike Evans for the first down.
They run a little reverse to Adam Humphries if he can get a block. He gets up around the 47-yard line. Well, that was something Dirk Cutter said about Jameis Winston. He said it's a good and a bad thing that he thinks he can make every play on every down, and he can make some of those, but when he doesn't, that's when we have problems.
Well, you know that he likes to force some footballs. Tight windows look like, you know, freeways to him. He'll try to make any attempt. But you got to protect the football in this league. Turnovers are the #1 factor in wins and losses.
His 9th interception of the season earlier in this game has led to a 49ers score as Humphries gets some blocks and gets down to the 42 of the 49ers.
There's one of those funny angle throws right there. Just her off the edge, trying to get it immediately to Adam Humphries. And just watch him change the angle of his delivery here because of the rusher. Almost underneath. Good play by Adam Humphries. This is the type of plays that he makes. Off the line of scrimmage, within 1 or 2 yards. He's got great after the catch ability. And picks up another first down for Tampa.
Humphries is second year from Clemson and second on the team in receptions behind Mike Evans. Good enough for 11 and a first down. There's a quick flip. That's Hunt Smith has it, and a lot of running room, showing some speed. Buffet drags him out of bounds. And a flag down.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Horse collar tackle. Number 31. Defense. After this to the goal. Automatic. First down.
I believe he meant it was Buffet, 41.
Yeah, inside the, I mean, I'm not sure that that's a penalty. I think they got that one wrong. But really a good play. Watch 84 in your screen right there. Right there, Cameron Brate on Valor really opens up that lane for big gain.
Gain of 30 yards when you tack on the penalty. Jaquiz Rogers weaving his way inside the 5 of the 49ers. Winston now 6 out of 10 for over 100 yards. 2nd and goal.
Good job by this offense to stay patient, you know, and you're watching at home, you're a Bucs fan, you're saying, God, he need to just air it out, get back into this football game. But again, Dirk Cutter's going to stick to his game plan. You're going to run the football, take timely opportunities with Jameis Winston's arm. See what they do here down in the red zone.
Jameis Winston with a lot of time will run and throw. Touchdown, Mike Evans. Bucs are on the board.
Well, Jameis Winston's not much of a runner, but what he does have, Chris, and you watch enough film on him, he has functional mobility in the pocket, right? He's not going to ever try to escape. He wants to throw it. He has good time here. Steps up, and I thought he was going to run with the football, but keeps his eyes down the field, much like Colin did on his touchdown, and finds a wide open Mike Evans.
When we sat with him yesterday and asked him, do you have the freedom to run? And he said, I do.
I just don't like it.
And he made the right call on that play to get the ball to his go-to guy, who took an early hit, but Evans has recovered for the touchdown catch. And Roberto Aguayo, the rookie, the second-round draft pick for the extra point. And the Bucs slice the lead to 7. Jameis Winston to Mike Evans. We're glad you're watching the NFL on Fox. Seems like Colin Kaepernick starting a wig movement. He told our Jennifer Hale that he did have to go to a larger helmet size because of the hair.
I wonder if he has a pick on his sideline, pulling that thing out every time he comes over there.
Roberto Aguayo kicking off. DeJuan Harris back to return the kick for the 49ers. And he will down it. Take it at the 25-yard line. Up in the booth with Rondé Barber, Chris Myers. Hope you're enjoying the NFL on Fox. Jennifer Hale down on the field. Well, a couple of teams trying to find their way. Let's talk about the 49ers first because they have the lead and they have the football.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm impressed with what Colin Kaepernick's doing at quarterback, and they're giving him the opportunity to throw the football. When I watched them on tape, they were awful pushing the ball down the field, but he's making some good decisions. You know, he's finding his open receivers, and of course, you know, he's a threat to run. But really where this 49er team has impressed me is on defense. They had the 2 early stops, the takeaway. That's complimentary football. See if they're able to keep that up as this game goes along.
And I'll get your thoughts on the Buccaneer defense. Of course, they had a short field on the turnover as Mike Davis carries. They've allowed a couple of touchdowns. First, let's get an update with Carissa.
Chris, Chargers in Atlanta. Falcons down 10-6 in the second quarter. Matt Ryan finds Jacob Tamme with that 17-yard touchdown pass, his 3rd touchdown reception of the year. Falcons take the lead for the first time today, 13-10. Chris, Rondé, and Jen.
All right, thank you, Carissa. And again, in that NFC South, the Saints were losers in Kansas City. Carolina has a bye week. And Atlanta, the division leader. Kaepernick's throw dropped by Vance McDonald. And the pace, even Chip Kelly said, we're not playing as fast as we did in Philadelphia, but they're still playing at the fastest pace of any team in the NFL.
Well, they have the most offensive possessions of any team coming into this week. 78. What they haven't been doing is scoring. They're one of the the least efficient scoring offenses in football, but today they've found a way to keep some drives going. Drops don't help. And really last week, when Colin Kaepernick struggled in the second half, his receivers weren't helping him out at all.
Hey, go to 54, go to 54. Larry, go!
Kaepernick going into the clear and sliding wisely after a gain to the 45 and a first down.
Well, the Bucs defense had what they wanted. Great coverage on the back end. Quan Alexander replaced on the blitz and just missed. It was a whiff. Some of this is what you have Colin Kaepernick in his quarterback for. 66 yards on the ground last week. You know he has that ability. Shows it right there.
26 already on 3 carries today. That was good for 16 and a first down. Kaepernick has it. Floats one. Complete for a first down at the 42 of Tampa Bay. Rookie Aaron Burbridge.
Well, I don't know what happened in a week. Maybe second week getting some reps at quarterback, but Colin Kaepernick does a great job layering this football. And by layering, I mean take something off of it. He was a fastball thrower in his first iteration as a quarterback here in San Francisco. That was a nice touch pass.
Flag down. Kaepernick. gets rid of it out of bounds. Flag at the 42-yard line. '49ers, the least penalized team. They only have one today.
Illegal formation. Number 77 lined up in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
And you wonder why, being the least penalized team, how does that translate into wins and losses? Chip Kelly told us, break those penalties down, the few that they have, a lot of them are coming in crucial situations in football games, whether it's third down, whether it's scoring opportunities in the red zone, and it's all right to be the least penalized team, but you still have to be a smart football team when those are executed.
Trent Brown, second-year player, a Florida Gator, called for the infraction. Dwan Harrison at running back now on 1st and 15 from the 46-yard line. Harris, the football, slips a tackle and does a good job to get back inside the 45-yard line of the Bucs.
William Golson's just wrecking shop over here on the left side of your defense. Watch him right here. Just throwing Trent Brown a puller, tries to get hands on him, completely disrupts that football play, allows his teammates to make a tackle.
Shuffling 3 running backs. In fact, Chip Kelly said, we use all of our players, every position we rotate, and eventually we got there with our quarterback. And Kaepernick steps up, throws, and it's intercepted. Stepping in front of the receiver is Bradley McDougald for the pick.
Just a late delivered football. Colin Kaepernick really does a good job stepping up into this pocket. With Bradley McDougald chasing across the field. Long delivery. Time for Bradley McDougald to step in front of it and get a takeaway for the Bucs defense.
That's only the 4th interception by the Tampa Bay defense, the first of the season for Bradley McDougald, and for Kaepernick coming back to start his first interception of this year, and this his first home start. He did not throw one on the road in the win in Buffalo. So now the turnovers are even. Each quarterback being picked. Jaquiz Rogers the back from the 27-yard line. He has the football in a big hole. Jaquiz Rogers. He hesitates, stops, and then powers to the 27-yard line of the 49ers. A stop and start run for the diminutive running back of Tampa Bay, who's over 100 yards rushing already.
Well, really good play right here. Watch him seal the edge, and then watch your nose tackle just get tied up. DeForest Buckner right there, and great cutback by the little guy. He's not fast. He's not going to outrun anybody. So shifty.
Peyton Barber gets the ball. They went without a huddle and a quick snap, and he's got a first down inside the 15-yard line. You can see him huffing and puffing after that run of 45 yards.
Well, he's been the catalyst of this offense in their last 2 football games. Look how low to the ground he is, how quick and shifty he is. Makes good decisions going north and south.
Peyton Barber, not hard, but down to the 10-yard line. The last time the Bucs had the ball on offense, they marched 94 yards. That's their longest touchdown drive of this season. And Rodgers, a big part of this drive that has already put him inside the 11 of San Francisco. If you saw the Fox NFL pregame show, Jimmy Johnson said that Jaquiz would have a big game, and Terry Bradshaw had no clue. He asked who Jaquiz Rogers was, and Kurt Menefee tried to explain. He's been in the league a while. He failed the quiz, I guess. Peyton Barber slicing forward.
I think Terry will know who he is after this game. Second consecutive 100-yard game already, but you see the weakness of this 49ers defense starting to emerge in the run game, whether it's the linebackers or whether it's the guys up front just getting bullied by this Tampa Bay offensive line. It was the same thing last week. The Bucs are riding their running game. Some big yardage here today.
And on this drive, you can see what they've done with the run, and the defense of the 49ers allowed 174 yards on the ground last week in the loss to Buffalo. But 3rd down and 4. The tight end has it inside the 5. That's Cameron Brate. But is it good enough for the first down?
I think they're just going to be short of the line to gain here, and now you got a decision. Put the kicker on, or do you go for this?
Well, remember, the kicker is a rookie kicker who has missed field goals that have been those considered a chip shot. They went once on 4th down, and there's a flag down.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 3, offense, 15-yard penalty, and the down counts. 4th down.
I guess it makes that decision for you, but I am not sure what Jameis Winston did right there to Pete Morelli. That
he's explaining it right now to his head coach. It had to be about words here because it was late, and Morelli's shaking his head.
I don't know what Jameis Winston could have said there to warrant a penalty.
4 out of 8 this year. Aguayo will try because of that penalty. Now a 38-yard field goal on 4th down. The kick is good. Aguayo gets the Bucs within 4 after a strange unsportsmanlike conduct call against Jameis Winston.
This game is sponsored by Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Here in Santa Clara, California, some unusual circumstances. Jameis Winston was unhappy about the spot after the completion on 3rd down, and the unsportsmanlike penalty call backed him up. Does not have to be profanity, whatever verbiage is said, for an official to throw the flag and make that kind of call. Juan Harris down against the 49ers after the field goal. Come out to the 25-yard line. This is what he was hollering about, and apparently in the eyes of the official took it to the extreme. Rule this year on the unsportsmanlike conduct, if Jameis Winston were to get a second one, then he would automatically be ejected from this game. Sean Drone the back, Kaepernick on 1st down. And keeping it himself, getting near a 1st down up around the 35-yard line. Trying to signal the receiver to go up. He also having to settle back in with his receivers in just his 2nd start of this season. 6th season in the NFL for Kaepernick, the 4th round pick from Nevada. At age 28, he made, remember, 47 consecutive regular season starts for the 49ers during that stretch when he took over for Alex Smith. Picked up 8. And good enough for the 1st down. Let's get a game break and check in again with Carissa.
Thanks, Chris. San Diego at Atlanta. Atlanta was up 13-10, middle of the 2nd quarter. Matt Ryan hands off to Tevin Coleman. He does the rest. A 30-yard run gives him his 5th rushing touchdown of the year. Atlanta up 20-10. Chris, Rhonda, and Jen.
All right, thank you very much. A 10-point difference there. A 4-point difference here.
talk about the tempo of this offense. It is decidedly slower than I think people expect it to be.
Davis and gets across the 40.
And you'll see, much like when Chip Kelly was in college, slowing the pace down by having everybody come to the sideline or bring their eyes to the sideline to look for the play call. And as a defense, Mike Smith was telling us all they're trying to do is identify what you're in. They'll make the initial call at the line of scrimmage, see if you're declare on the back end of your secondary, whether it's open or closed. Defense, I'll explain later, then call the play.
Kaepernick on 2nd down. Catch made at the 40 by Quentin Patton. It'll bring a 3rd down. Chris Conte making the hit.
So it puts a lot of stress, Chris, to finish that thought on your defense, because there's safety in the hole. Colin Kaepernick's going to call one play. If it's split safeties, he's going to call a different one. And here you go, looking at the sideline, figuring out the play, and this is important 3rd down, so you know they're going to try to get it right here.
Mike Davis in. They need to get to the 47. 3rd down and 3. Kaepernick. And almost intercepted again. It took a while for the throw to get there. Keith Tandy got in front of the football, and it's 4th down. Streeter, that's Rod Streeter, the target.
Well, he had his open receiver, and you know, if there's one critique about Colin Kaepernick as a thrower, is that he reads the game a little slow, and he's got a really long delivery. And on that play right there, he allowed Keith Tandy to come in and make a nice 3rd down pass breakup for the Bucs.
There is Bradley Pinion. Humphreys. High, short kick, fair catch called for at the 22-yard line. Ronnie, you mentioned earlier how the Bucs, being in the Eastern time zone coming out to play out west. Of course, they lost to Arizona earlier this year. They've won twice in 14 tries here in San Francisco. Their first win came in 1980 at Candlestick Park. Doug Williams with a keeper for the third quarter lead. And Garo Yepremian, the great Dolphin who kicked the game winner for the Bucs with 47 seconds left, and it was a Tampa Bay win by 1 point. Now, they'll have to play out in San Diego, which is obviously in the Pacific time zone. They were blown out in Arizona, and of course here trying to adjust in the San Francisco area. That's number 20, that Rondé Barber guy used to wear. You paid him to sit out there. A first down. Evans slipped coming out of his turn.
I absolutely paid him, but I could not find any Chris Myers jerseys anywhere in the stadium.
Just a lot of hair dryers. But look, there's like a different variation of the jerseys right through the years with the Tampa Bay Buccaneer franchise.
There you go. That's the closest we can get to Chris Myers.
The hair is on top of my head. Very stylish, though. On second down 10, Jaquiz Rogers, who's run for 100 yards today on 11 carries, gets his 12th carry and makes every carry count, fighting to get to the 30-yard line.
I'm not sure how we squeezed through this gap, but I am just amazed at what he's done. He was on the street after getting cut by Chicago in the preseason. All he needs is a little tiny crease, and he is just finding ways to gobble up yardage here. And I got to tell you, when Doug Martin finally comes back into the fold here with those two working together, it's going to be a great cohabitation, I think.
For a guy in his 6th year and only his 7th NFL start, this is his career best rushing day of 109 yards. We've reached the 2-minute warning here in Santa Clara, California. The 49ers lead the Bucs by 4. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL.
Go!
From the 30, Jameis Winston. Pass caught. Russell Shepard reaching. Looks like that's enough for the first down. Remember that yellow line just superimposed, not official. But they are giving him credit for the catch and gain for a first down just short of the 35. Bucs have 2 timeouts. Second straight game, they've rushed for over 100 yards in the first half. Rodgers, most of that. Pass caught again for a first down. Coming out of his break, Russell Shepard. 2
great catches by Russell Shepard. He's one of the guys that's going to have to step up and take the slack in this receiving core with Vincent Jackson out. I thought he had a great early part of the preseason this year, showed himself as a receiver, and Jameis Winston surely has confidence in him now.
A star special teamer forced into action on the field here, and that's on target inside the 35. Cameron Brate with the catch.
Getting the 2-minute situation in your Tampa.
Here's a flag.
And it will set up the situation in the game with 2 minutes left on the clock. You're getting the ball after halftime. All they want to do is get down here, make sure they get some points, and know that they're going to have an opportunity to get back on offense at the beginning of the next half. I think this is going to be a personal foul on San Francisco.
Personal foul, late hit, unnecessary risk. Number 99 defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. Number 99 is his first foul towards disqualification.
So that's DeForest Buckner, who's been one of the most steady defensive players for the 49ers this year.
See Howley right here in this.
Wow.
Yeah, that's definitely a personal foul.
The rookie marches the ball all the way to the 20 after the penalty. Just over a minute to play here. 49ers built a 14-0 lead. Bucs with an interception and then a touchdown pass to Evans and a field goal have cut it to 4.
Wipe it. What? Wipe it. Let him go.
Jaquiz Rogers. Smothered after a gain of about a yard. And we're going to get a timeout from the Bucs. Coming up, the Visa halftime. Let's see what Kirk Menefee has in store.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, there are no more undefeated teams left. Carson Wentz and the Eagles hand Minnesota its first loss of the season. The Detroit Lions also snap Washington's 4-game win streak, and the Steelers, they host the New England Patriots without Big Ben. All that and more. We'll be back on the Visa halftime. Hey.
Michael Strahan, a good sport. They should have that to Terry Bradshaw and see the Jaquiz Rogers handbook of his career, who was originally a draft pick of the Falcons in the 5th round from Oregon State, where he played against Chip Kelly in Oregon. Also, the only winless team remains the Browns. Another quarterback injury. The Bengals beat them today. That's all coming up on the Visa halftime report.
Go.
Winston for the end zone, and Russell Shepard. And a little too long, incomplete. Tremaine Brock, the first player in NFL history from Belhaven College. That's a small Christian college in Mississippi. On the good coverage there of Russell Shepard.
Oh, good job by this 49ers defense. They need to find a way to get a stop here. And talked about them. Talked about the Bucs trying to get in here and get a score on the board before they get the ball back. And conversely, the 49ers need to hold these Buccaneers out of the end zone.
On 3rd down, extra pressure coming. Time for Winston in the end zone. Touchdown! He reached back and grabbed it. Russell Shepard.
Well, Sharp Robinson had really good coverage on this route. But how about Tampa Bay isolating Russell Shepard, and then just a great throw by Jameis Winston. Watch the route. And out, in, balls delivered right on time. Great throw by Jameis Winston. Even better catch by Russell Shepard for the touchdown.
And Russell Shepard, the special team star and backup receiver, 3 catches all season long. He had 3 on that drive, including the signature moment in the end zone. And the Bucs with the lead. That extra point makes it a 17-14 game. And at one time they trailed 14-0. And for the 49ers, it may be the same old song and dance. They hang in there in the first half, and then things get away in the second half. Well, they've gotten away in the second quarter in this one at the moment.
We talked about them getting off to a fast start, which they did. But the defense has started to show some chinks in the armor, and going back to this touchdown catch, I mean, wow, a guy that really is not expected to be much of a wide receiver. Though, like I said, in the preseason, he was an option. Looked like he was going to be the 3rd guy. But come in when needed, makes a great catch before the half. Bucs take the lead.
And the yards, the Buccaneers offense are piling up. For Russell Shepard, he was kind of a knock-around guy. He's from Houston, Texas with the Eagles, and once they got him in Tampa Bay, he's just earned his way through special teams, and in the preseason, as you said, became a reliable receiver, and with the injuries, has stepped up today.
Yep, 3 catches on that drive, the touchdown, and you're rewarded by having to go down and cover a kick.
Played some quarterback back at LSU. That's part of the job. He does everything. He doesn't want to leave the day job.
Exactly right. The more you can do.
48 seconds remain. The 49ers will have all 3 of their timeouts. Roberto Aguayo, who's been solid today on extra points and field goals, pushes this into the end zone for a touchback. Every weekday morning, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp go head-to-head on the day's hottest topics. Undisputed. Weekdays, 9:30 on FS1. Well, Colin Kaepernick is the leading rusher for the 49ers today. 5 attempts, 38 yards, some of those out of scrambles. He has thrown for a touchdown as well. That went to Sean Drone. 5 of 11 through the air, just 76 yards. Of course, suffered the interception.
I haven't seen as much read option out of this team as I thought I would. I mean, that's really what he does best. It's the best, most dangerous option for this offense is him running the football.
He's throwing from the pocket. Drone has it. Works his way across the 30. Timeout, 49ers. If you tuned in just a little bit late, opening drive. Mike Davis marching in for a 7-0 lead, and then on the move, Kaepernick to Drone. Reviewed and confirmed. It was 14-0 49ers. Gerald Hodges had an interception for Chip Kelly's team to help set up that second score, but then things turned. Jaquiz Rogers churning out yards on the ground. And And then, of course, a couple of touchdown passes from Jameis Winston. Kaepernick completes but knocked down. Looks like he got enough for the first down. Jeremy Curley, and he did. Move the chains on another timeout. 49ers will have one remaining. Phil Dawson, the 41-year-old place kicker, hoping he gets a chance to tie things up before the end of the half.
See what Tampa tries to do in this series, whether they try to blitz Colin Kaepernick here. Every single snap, I think you're going to see some sort of spy on Colin Kaepernick. They got 3 linebackers in with 5 defensive backs, and right now I think it's Daryl Smith, number 51, is trying to keep an eye on Kaepernick.
Knocked away and trying to get it to the tight end, McDonald. Yeah, as fans, they love to hear, is there a spy on the play? And if you're going to assign somebody to follow the quarterback, you're giving up something else somewhere else.
Well, you're obviously leaving 3 guys to rush the passer, and those guys for Tampa right now are Gerald McCoy, Noah Spence, and Will Golston. And this is, Mike Smith, the defensive coordinator here, has a lot of variations to this defense. You haven't seen a lot of them this year, but the 3 linebackers and 5 DBs is definitely one you put into use when you have a running quarterback. Right there, it's Daryl Smith, and you'll see him pop out. Keep an eye on Kaepernick.
A quick pass here, knocked down at the 39 is Quentin Patton, and timeout again, 49ers.
Well, one thing that we know that San Francisco doesn't do well is push the ball down the field. So all these little intermediate, short to intermediate routes, the Bucs are just happy to let them complete it and come up and make tackles. And you've seen it 2 or 3 occasions here, how fast this defense is swarming right now.
Torrey Smith, the deep threat, has caught just 1 pass for the 49ers. Jameis Winston looked like he was going to run, got it to Mike Evans for the Bucs for a score. They get a field goal, and then the touchdown moments ago to Russell Shepard on an impressive drive in which Shepard caught 2 more passes before that one. 3rd and 8. Open short. Drone goes out of bounds, and it's 4th down. '49er fans aren't happy, saying, "No, wait a minute, why did you run out of bounds and throw it short when you know you needed a few more yards for a first down?"
I'm not sure.
Questions Chip Kelly may be wondering about that he will address at the half. 49er faithful like what they saw in the opening quarter, but it shifted towards the Bucs in the second quarter. Bradley Pinion booms it away. Adam Humphries will have to pick up the muff punt and maneuver his way up across the 15-yard line. A little bit more adventurous than he had hoped.
I don't know if this is something. This was almost a disastrous play for. Why would you field this inside the 5-yard line and then muff it? Thankfully, picks it up and actually creates some yardage out of what potentially could have been a disastrous play for Tampa.
Got more than if he had just fair caught it, but with just 7 seconds remaining and 1 timeout, the Bucs will probably be happy to go to the half with a 3-point lead on the road here. And remember, Tampa Bay gets the football, or at least the 49ers will be kicking off to Tampa Bay to start the second half. Buccaneers leading at the break by 3. Let's head to Los Angeles and the gang for the Visa halftime report. Today's excitement brought to you by the new Nissan Titan. And the Buccaneers, who were in an early hole, rallied from 14-0. Couple of touchdown passes from Jameis Winston. Jaquiz Rodgers rushing for again over 100 yards. Second consecutive game for the former Falcon. An Aguayo field goal. And Dirk Cutter's team with the lead. That was today's excitement brought to you by the new Nissan Titan from the booth. Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, glad to have you with us for the NFL on Fox. Only the second time, Rondé, in the last 25 years that the Bucs offense has produced more than 300 yards of offense in the first half. Last year they did it with Dirk Cutter, offensive coordinator, now as the head coach, yet it's just a narrow 3-point lead.
Well, it was a tale of two quarters, really. In the first quarter, it almost felt like, what am I talking about? San Francisco was getting ready to roll over Tampa, but I got to tell you, Jameis Winston settled down. They continued to run the football and got going in that second quarter. And I got to wonder, really, when you're looking at San Francisco, what guy on this team is going to step up and make a play to win a football game? They've been in this situation numerous times this year and has faltered down the stretch. We'll see what they're able to do here in the second half.
And their defense will again be on the spot. They've given up 106 second half points. That's the most in the NFL this season, again in the second half, where games have slipped away. Ryan Smith waving everybody off. And that 49er defense will trot out against Winston and the offense at the 25-yard line. Let's check in down on the field with Jennifer Hale.
Well, Chris, I had a chance to speak with some of the officials calling this game about what happened with the Jameis Winston situation. And basically they said viewer discretion advised. He had a very passionate way of saying he thought that the Tampa Bay Bucs earned a first down, not a fourth down. Now, Coach Dirk Cutter told me he had a conversation with Jameis at halftime, reminding him to remember the team needs a passion versus emotion. Keep yourself under control, Chris.
Thank you. As Rodgers carries again for a solid game. Well, he's a young and very emotional player, Jameis Winston, and the competitiveness got the best of him.
Absolutely, he is. And if you watch him in the locker room, if you're ever in there, if you see him before games firing up his team, he tends to ride the emotional roller coaster. And, good players, especially quarterbacks in this league, need to temper some of that. And it's something Jameis Winston will learn as he goes along, but those type of penalties are really kind of, there's a roller coaster. Nice.
Is that a water roller coaster?
That's a water.
It's a slide, I know. Something like that. It's Rodgers again. This time the 49er defense pins him in. Winston, last year the #1 overall pick, and he played right away. In fact, he's played every snap for this team, and he's a Heisman Trophy winner. He won a national championship, and he really has accepted the leadership role. Dirk Cutter said the first day after the bye week, the first day back at work for the team, Cutter drove into the Bucs office at 5:42 in the morning, and there was Jameis's car, was already in there. He was in there looking at tape, getting ready for this game. On 3rd down and 7. Winston in trouble and goes down. Aaron Lynch.
Well, Jameis Winston had nowhere to go with this football. Really good coverage on the back end. He's looking for Adam Humphries here in the slot, and just in that zone, you see the safety jump it. Mike Evans on the other side, completely doubled. And Aaron Lynch continues to hustle. He gets a sack, get off the field on 3rd down.
Second sack of the game for the 49ers. Brian Anger with a kick that's coming in. Fair catch waved for. Run into his own player. Jeremy Curley waved for the fair catch. But the player blocking for him got in his way. Burbridge created the adventure, and the Buccaneers have it.
Such a tough position to be on if you're one of these hold-up guys. He's got to pay attention. Burbridge there has to pay attention to his returner. I know it's sometimes hard. He's looking to block Robinson right there in the corner. But these type of plays, just really a comedy of errors, and awareness is just not there.
Keith Tandy looked like he came away with, and he did, the fumble recovery after the ball was scrambled for. It seemed like poor Burbridge didn't know where Jeremy Curley was on that. And the Bucs with their second takeaway, they had 4 in the last game they played in a win over Carolina. Winston on the move, completes to Evans, who slips down at the 25, good enough for a first down.
Well, you want to know where a young player is growing. To me, it's Mike Evans. Watch him on this play. Jameis Winston's moving out of the pocket. He's going this way. But watch Mike Evans right here. He knows his quarterback is going to settle down. He identifies the zone, sits down. The ball hits him right in the chest. Good play, quarterback and receiver.
Evans 4 catches today, including a touchdown, his 5th of the season. Jaquiz Rogers gets inside the 20.
I don't know if you're seeing the same thing I am, Chris, but the right side of that offensive line with Ali Marpet and DeMar Dotson just really dominating this 49ers front. There's gaps there. There's easy running lanes for Jaquiz Rogers to find. He's now got 120 yards on the ground, and more importantly, Chris, he's averaging 7.5 yards a carry.
Marpet, the second-round draft pick from Hobart. DeMar Dotson got the new contract prior to the start of the preseason. Rogers again, all 5-6 of them. But boy, those calves, it reminds me, if you remember Robert Newhouse, a Cowboy running back of the old days, more number, I think it was 44, would just churn those calves and run over people. That's what Jaquiz Rogers has been doing today, and even in the last game when they rode him to victory against Carolina.
Well, he was the third option when he was in Atlanta with Dirk Cutter. It's really just kind of a third down type of back, but God, since he's been here, he's carrying the load as a runner. He's always been a great receiver. He can play on first, second, and third down. It's just been a huge asset for this offense.
Third down and 4. Extra pressure is picked up. And a low throw is incomplete. Trying to go to Humphries, who was open, but the throw was not very good. Still a catchable football.
And it's the first time I've really seen Jameis lose some composure in the pocket. He had time there. I know it was collapsing around him. He finds a way to deliver it, and Adam Humphries got to make that catch.
Roberto Aguayo, who is 1 for 1 today, lining up for what would be a 37-yard field goal try. Traded up to draft him in the second round, the rookie from Florida State, Lake County, Florida. Good. Remember, he kicked the game winner on Monday night against the Panthers and had a great week of practice, according to his coach.
Game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Nissan. Innovation that excites. And by Corona Extra, who invites you to find your beach.
Time of possession heavily weighted in favor of the Bucs, and that's not the only thing that's changed from early in this game. Rookie Roberto Aguayo is 6 of 10 now for the season in the field goal department and getting ready to kick off to Dewan Harris, who has sparkled as a running back today when given the chance for the 49ers, who now trail by 6. Harris is coming out of the end zone and knocked down across the 17-yard line. Here comes Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers on offense, trailing by 6. Here in Santa Clara, California, fans realize it's a quarterback's game. Jameis Winston with a couple of touchdown passes. Thanks for clarifying, by the way, Rondé, on that telestrator.
You know, I just haven't used it in a while.
Mike Davis is the running back for Colin Kaepernick. Just across the 15-yard line, trailing by 6 all day, and he runs. Gets up around the 24. We've not seen, maybe just a handful of read option, as you mentioned in the first half. You thought that might be a more effective offensive approach for these 49ers.
To me, they've come out and emphasized throwing it. I mean, really, to start the game, Colin Kaepernick went right down 4 straight passes. I'm not sure if that's what Chip Kelly intended.
Mike Davis for the first down.
Or maybe they just assumed that Tampa was going to gear up on the run, and this was going to be a game where Colin Kaepernick had to win it through the air. But so far today, the play selection is really kind of surprised me.
Blaine Gabbert, who was the starting quarterback when the season opened. Remember, the 49ers and Chip Kelly shut out the Rams to start the season and then have gone into a tailspin, losing 5 in a row. Trying to snap that skid today. Dewan Harris is in the backfield. Chip, he was faked to by Kaepernick, who gets up to across the 40 and another first down. We just talked about working that magic for the 49er offense.
Well, this is a really good play. You're going to see the back go here and then Colin Kaepernick keep it going this way. And you're really just trying to ISO one player. And look at the size of that hole. Jeez, Chris, you could run through that thing. Colin Kaepernick with his skills picks up some big yardage there.
Now 59 yards rushing. He's averaging over 8 yards a carry. 7 attempts on the ground for Kaepernick, but he's yet to throw for 100 yards. Harris, the football knocked down right away. Levante David from his linebacker spot.
Haven't called Levante David's number very often today. Dynamic, looking on the edge. You don't see him here much. That's more like an under front with 5 linemen up at the top of the screen, and I don't think the 49ers have seen that look very often. Leave him unblocked, and it's good play by Levante.
Second down 12 from the 39 of the 49ers. Room to run left if he wants it. They'll get rid of it. And, I am surprised, Rodney, that Kaepernick, and I think even the Bucs thought that he might try to attack Vernon Hargreaves, the rookie corner, the first rounder from Florida, on one side, obviously avoiding Brent Grimes on the other.
Oh, Brent Grimes has had a couple of nice pass breakups today. Haven't mentioned Vernon Hargreaves, and he's a rookie, and he's really coming into his own as a starter. In week 2, they moved him outside, and I love his movement. I love the kid's movement, but he plays somewhat cautious. They had to have seen that on film, and I agree, Chris. I'm surprised that they haven't tried to take advantage of him yet.
Grimes on Torrey Smith. He's the guy, their big play threat that Kelly said they had to get going. It's only caught 1 pass on 2 targets, and he goes down. The ball is out. A flag flies. A lot happened at once. The Bucs came away with the football. Gerald McCoy has it. Jude Ajayi-Barima.
Hands to the face, number 24. Offense, penalty is declined. Result of the play is the first down, Tampa Bay.
Jude Ajayi-Barima from the secondary came in and forced the fumble that McCoy recovered.
Well, Colin Kaepernick absolutely has no idea this is coming. And here's the hit and the fumble, calls fumble. He's just getting ready to wind up to throw it. Good clean tackle there. And it's identifying a blitz. Colin Kaepernick just has no idea that this is coming. Another turnover for this Bucs defense. And I got to tell you, Mike Smith, defensive coordinator, is really dialing up some stuff now. There's 2 looks right there that I have not seen this defense run, and they get a turnover off one of them.
3 takeaways for the Bucs today. Peyton Barber to the 26-yard line. Mike Smith, remember, was the head coach for the Falcons. Dirk Cutter, the coordinator, when the Falcons lost in 2012 to Colin Kaepernick of the 49ers in an NFC championship game. Now Mike Smith, the defensive coordinator for Dirk Cutter, and they both said, boy, we were a few yards away from the Super Bowl. You don't forget moments like that. Coaches remember the big games they lost more than the ones they won.
I think they have a great relationship, too, and really it works in the fact that Dirk Cutter doesn't have to worry about his defense. He knows that he has a head coach type player running the other side. And this is, I think Eric Armstead down on the ground was not even sure how he got hurt, but he does not look comfortable right now laying on the ground there.
Teammates helping him on the 49ers sideline. Of course, the league this year wants to make sure that there is space around players so that the medical staff and those that are needed can get to him and assist.
Eric Armstead's one of the guys, one of the young guys inside here that I think need to have really big game for this defense to play well.
He had a sack earlier in this game.
This is 91 right here. See if we can discern what happened to him here. I mean, he completely runs over DeMar Dotson. And this could be, he could have got hit in the head there, helmet to helmet, and it's something that happens a lot in the NFL with down linemen. You know, it's clear to see in the back end of plays where helmet to helmet happens, but when you're down in the trenches, almost every single time you engage, your helmet is clanking on the opposing player, and if that's a head hit or a shoulder hit, something's definitely discomforting.
Tony Giardinetti comes in. Glenn Dorsey is inactive for this game today.
Stay, back a left. Go.
On second down, blitz coming. The throw for Mike Evans. Through his fingertips in the end zone.
Oh, Mike Evans wants this back. This is Jameis Winston handles pressure about as good as any young player I've seen, but this is a perfectly delivered football. He's clearly outrun the defender, and he just mistimes it.
Jameis Winston, he already has one today. Jameis Winston is, at least coming into this game, the most blitzed quarterback in the league.
Yeah, it could have been the coming out of the sun, the ball getting lost in the shadows there going into that corner to contribute to that misjudgment there by Evans.
Third down and 9. Here comes extra pressure again. On the move, he throws it. It's caught. There's a flag down as Evans made the catch for the first down. Let's check the flag. It was on the other side of the field.
Holding. Number 33, defense. Penalties declined. Result of play, first down. Number 68 is reporting as eligible. 68 is reporting eligible.
Shark Robinson's great at the line of scrimmage, Chris. He's one of the really good young players, and they love him on this defense. But I got to tell you, man, Jameis Winston moving out of the pocket. No way this should be a completion. Running to his right, throwing across his body to the left. Well done by number 3.
Jacquizz Rodgers straight ahead, all the way down to the 2.5-yard line. And adding to his career best day on the ground.
Well, Jen Hale talked to Chip Kelly at halftime, and he said he was disgusted with his run defense, and it's not looking any better here in the second half yet. Jacquizz Rodgers just finding lane after lane, powering through tacklers. They're down inside the 5-yard line.
The worst defense against the run coming into the game. 49er defense allowing 31 points a game. That's second most in the league. Rodgers, this time they smother him. Jameis Winston nearing 200 yards through the air. Has a couple of touchdowns, suffered an early interception. Over 125 yards for Jacquizz Rodgers, averaging 6.5 a carry. But it's third down and 3.
But
Winston has it on the move. End zone throw for Evans. He reaches up, grabs it, and touchdown Buccaneers.
Get down in the red zone. You've got to find a way to locate Mike Evans. Big target, 6'4", got great hands, and I got to give Jameis a lot of credit right here, because again, rolling away from where this play ends up and finding a way to square his shoulders and get this jump ball, this 50-50 ball to Mike Evans. There's just no way to stop it. And Jim O'Neill, the defensive coordinator, is just frustrated. Defense putting pressure on the quarterback, yet he still finds a way to get that touchdown.
Dirk Cutter loves it. His 6'5" receiver, you could see the comfort level. The extra point hits the upright but works its way through for Aguayo. That close. Mike Evans having a Pro Bowl season with already his second touchdown of the game.
Sponsored by Verizon. Join the Better Network, because better matters.
Tampa's Mike Evans putting some pressure on himself today to step up in Vincent Jackson's absence. He tells me he'd love to either be one-on-one on the outside or in the slot, but he'll play wherever. Chris, he is also trying to take a leadership role in that receiver room, even though ironically he is the youngest one in that group.
The 7th overall pick in 2014, 23 years old now in his third year and having a Pro Bowl season, already 6 touchdowns. He had 3 last year. Aguayo, the adventurous extra point. This time Harris wisely downs it to give his offense better starting field position from the 25. And it's 27-14 Bucs. Carlos Hyde over there on the right side, and the shoulder injury. He's missed 11 of his 32 previous NFL starts, missing another one. As Harris up from the practice squad carries. Carlos Hyde, the team's leading rusher. He had an offseason goal to make 16 starts, but that hasn't happened. A terrific runner from Ohio State, so Chip Kelly's had to juggle 3 different backs. Mike Davis started, had a touchdown run. Sean Drone caught a pass from Kaepernick, and now DeJuan Harris from the pocket, incomplete. Garrett Selleck, the target. The Buccaneers 27 unanswered points after the 49ers had a 14-0 lead.
Well, they better get a first down here, Chris, because we see this offense playing fast now, trying to get some momentum, get down the field. But if they get off the field right now, if this defense has to go back in, you almost start to feel sorry for Jim O'Neill's defense.
They lead the league in 3 and outs.
Hey, you got Lion? Hey, 58 too hot. Race, go!
3rd and 6 from the 29. Here's a flag, and the pass is caught by Quentin Patton up near the 44-yard line.
Illegal formation, number 77 lined up in the backfield. 5-yard penalty remains, 3rd down.
3rd down, that's 2 penalties on him. Remember Chip Kelly, they said fewest penalties, but they're the worst on 3rd down, both offensively and defensively.
And we mentioned it earlier, just crucial penalties. Nice 3rd down completion there for Colin Kaepernick, and now it's 3rd and 12. It's just type of penalties that bad football teams commit, and now you're behind the sticks again, 3rd and long.
Need to get to the 35 for a first down. Pass caught by Harris, but there's nowhere to go. He slips a tackle, and he gets the first down. A little bit of magic from DeJuan Harris, surrounded by 3 Buccaneers.
That was spectacular right there. This, for all intents and purposes, looks like now a 4th and 9. These 2 tacklers come up on them. But this is what they love. Look at the shiftiness. Change the direction, puts Levante David on the ground. Bradley McDougall can't get him. First down for San Francisco.
He's only 5'7". Jaquiz Rogers 5'6". The little guys have been coming up big today. Mike Harris knocked down. Vernon Hargraves making the play on Mike Davis.
I love corners that like to hit. Vernon Hargraves here. This is a good tackle. You know, every corner wants to come in the league and be a cover guy. You better be able to put your face on people and come up with a body part on tackles, and that's exactly what Vernon Hargraves does there.
The star from Wharton High in Tampa, and a first-round pick from the Florida Gators.
Race, go!
Sean Drone the back, fake to him. Kaepernick moving around in the pocket and throwing on the run, out of bounds.
Well, the decision-making of Colin Kaepernick is really not even getting a chance to do it. Watch this pressure, 4-man pressure. This is not a blitz. This is just 4 defensive linemen for Tampa just piercing that offensive line of San Francisco, and your quarterback has 0 chance.
3rd down and 10. Dirk Cutter said that, our defense, meaning the Bucs, haven't played that bad. Our offense had put them in bad situations. Not the case today for the most part. From the pocket, pass incomplete, trying to go to Aaron Burbridge. And Grimes on the coverage. And when you said at the start of this that the 49ers needed better play from the quarterback position to win games, they're not getting it now.
Well, this is exactly it. Crucial times in games when you need the quarterback to step up and make on-time throws, it's not materialized. This is very similar to what happened last week. They were close at the half, scored touchdown from your opposition, and then just not able to answer, and all of a sudden the game gets out of control. Unless they get a stop here on defense and find a way to get on the plus side of the 50, it looks like it's going to be more of the same.
Flags fly. Humphreys at the 11 with the football after the fair catch.
During the kick, holding, number 43, the receiving team, 10-yard penalty, first down and timeout.
The call on Peyton Barber, that'll back up the Bucs as the 49ers take a closer look at what's going on here. Enough to give a young defensive coordinator gray hair. Same old story for the 49ers defense when it comes to stopping the run, and the Bucs, Jaquiz Rogers with a lot of that. 160 today. He's got 126. And he gets the football again, working his way to the 10-yard line. Well, now with a 27-14 lead, Tampa Bay. It's too early to go into your 4-minute offense. We have another injured player here. It's Gerald Hodges who had an interception in the first half. Eric Armstead went out. Looked like he was ready to come back on the 49er defense.
Well, Gerald Hodges was getting some time because the linebacker play here was so bad the past couple of weeks. Just missed tackle after missed tackle. And Chip Kelly and Jim O'Neill both said that they needed to rotate some of these players in. Gerald Hodges has, I think, played every snap today. Not that it's had much effect on this 49ers run defense.
Navarro Bowman, of course, his injury earlier in the year, devastating to this 49er defense. Hope that Hodges is okay. Tuesday, game one, the World Series history made. Cubs and Indians. Somebody is going to win one. It's been a while to get the first World Series title in generations here. Cubs last World Series 1945, the Indians 1997. Last time they won it for the Cubs, 1908, 1948 for Cleveland. Yeah, FS1 Tuesday, 7 Eastern pregame. Then on Fox, you'll see the game, and of course Fox Sports Go as well. And more Indian and Cub fans proud to show their support. After a 1-yard pickup, Hodges helped working with his own power to the 49ers sideline.
Second and 9.
Fakes to Rodgers. Out of his break. Mike Evans with another catch.
Mike Evans almost is falling down before he makes this completion. The timing on this route is near perfection, even with the stumble by Mike Evans.
There's Hodges getting help over on the 49ers sideline. Michael Wilhoit has come in for Hodges. And after a 12-yard pickup, first down, 7 catches for Evans.
Ready! Blue Whitey!
Rodgers finding a hole to Quiz Rodgers. Up to the 37-yard line.
Rodgers, the ball carrier.
He has his choice of holes. I mean, the guy is, yes, diminutive, and it's hard to find him behind the line of scrimmage. But look at these gaps in this running lane. I know he's shifty, but there's just even nobody at the point of attack to make tackles.
Well, when you meet him, he says, "I'm Quiz." Shakes your hand. He was out of work 3 days later. He got a call from the Bucs back in September. Said, "Hey, join us." Carries again. Knocked down, he'll lose yardage, but the injuries to Doug Martin and Charles Sims, as Bethea makes the tackle, have forced him into the lead back role, and he's got 140 yards today. There is a flag down.
3-yard loss on the play, 2nd and 13 at the 35.
I mean, that was a late flag. I have no idea what that is.
There's no foul on the play. Second down.
Okay.
That's why it was late. There wasn't one. They just had to pick up the flag. So now at the 35-yard line, after that excellent defensive play, it's 2nd and 13.
You got the 4. We're good to go. No, pull. You're good. Go.
Humphreys. And another smallish receiver across the 40. I don't want people to think I'm picking on size here, but that was one thing Jameis Winston said about Adam Humphreys, that he plays with his mind.
Oh, he really does, and they are on the same page almost all the time. This was another, like, really adjustment type throw for Jameis Winston. You know, letting the defender jump, throwing underneath him, but Adam Humphreys is a guy that he really has trust in. He knows where he's going to be every single time. You talk about playing above the neck. He's a quarterback's dream because he's reliable.
You got the end. Go,
Open in the middle of the field. Russell Shepard spinning inside the 40 for a first down.
Well, I know Jim O'Neill's trying to be aggressive and pressure Jameis Winston, but he is dicing this secondary up. They're playing zone behind pressure, and Jameis Winston has enough time and enough composure to stand in there and just deliver strikes. Watch this. Steps up, knows pressure's coming, finds Russell Shepard, first down.
Over 230 yards passing for Winston. Rodgers breaks a tackle. Muscles his way down to the 31-yard line. All afternoon we've been telling you about the former Oregon State runner, as we have an injured player. That's Rashard Robinson, the rookie from LSU, in pain.
It's not one thing, it's another with San Fran right now with the injuries, and as his third or fourth guy that's been down on this defense, and they just can't afford to lose him. They got some guys back this week. Rashard Robinson's a guy that they really had high expectations for. You know, he's going to have a challenge covering Mike Evans today, but he goes out. Jimmy Ward's been out, and he's back playing today, but they're curse bitten right now.
Looks like one of his teammates may have stepped on him here, Rondé. DeForest Buckner. See that?
Oh yeah, right there on his ankle.
And Buckner's a 300-pounder.
You know, it looks like they're looking at his hamstring. Sometimes when you get your foot stepped on and you're trying to lift your foot off the ground, and obviously it's stuck to the ground with DeForest Buckner's weight on it, you get a little yank in the back of your leg, and pretty sure that's what happened there. He
had been in the concussion protocol, Rashard Robinson, but it's been a game where Jimmy Ward was out injured, came back in, another guy returning from injury. Eric Armstead went through it. We just saw Gerald Hodges as well. And at a time when the 49er defense needs a stop, players are getting beat up physically. 38 seconds remain here in the third quarter. Let's get a game break. Check in again with Kurt Menefee. Hey, Kurt.
Hello there, Chris. The San Diego Chargers making it a little bit closer down there in Atlanta. Melvin Gordon with a tough run into the end zone. Pulls them to within a touchdown right now. It's 27-20. Falcons with the lead, holding on. Just getting ready to start the fourth quarter.
Thanks, Kurt. And, of course, Atlanta leads the NFC South. A win by the Bucs today would even their record, and they defeated Atlanta to start the year. Carolina has a bye week, and the Saints, who had a 2-3 record, lost in Kansas City, so they now fall to 2-4. And Rodgers has been the go-to guy for this Buccaneer team in their last couple of games. He gets it again, but does not get the first down as a flag comes in.
Holding, number 64 offense. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Kevin Pamfield, the left guard, and another 49er in pain. That looks like Aaron Lynch. It's unbelievable.
Oh, I was just going to say.
I mean, Chip Kelly's teams are usually, he emphasizes the proper kind of nutrition and sleep and conditioning. Of course, the Buccaneers have had their issue with soft tissue injuries. Seems like every team in the league. Chargers, we just saw the update from Kurt Menefee. They were devastated by injuries.
Right in the middle of your screen there, locked up on Brandon Myers, and looking at his left leg there, and teammate.
While they work with him, let's check back in with Kurt Menefee.
All right, so Pittsburgh playing without their injured quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger. They're keeping it close against New England, 14-13. That is until Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski hook up. 36 yards on the score. New England did miss the point after, however, so it's still a touchdown lead, 20-13 late in the third. Chris, Rondé, and Jen, back to you.
Thank you, Kurt. And I saw Jay Glazer on the pregame show talk about the Roethlisberger no injured list. They really think, even though some believed it might be a 4 to 6 week injury, they think it may be just a couple for their quarterback with the Steelers.
Just saw that picture of the 4 important injuries on defense for San Fran, and Chip Kelly's just got that incredulous look, like what more can go wrong for us as a football team right now?
Well, the offense could help the defense out for one. Obviously, if they didn't have the quick 3 and outs or put more points on the board. So the 49ers getting beat more ways than one at the end of 3 quarters. The Buccaneers with the lead out west. With Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, and crew, our booth consultants, James Petralka and Rick Odioso. Glad you're watching the NFL on Fox. The Bucs coming off the bye week, and the 49ers headed in to the bye week. Second down, 12.
Ready! Blue lighting! Light up!
Winston for Evans, and out of bounds. Interception. Anton Bethea.
Winston's pass out of bounds, incomplete.
Injuries continuing to mount for the 49ers, on defense especially.
And Rashard Robinson just went to the locker room, so you're looking at an even depleted secondary here. Tremaine Brock at one corner, Jimmy Ward at the other, and Reeser the third corner, and they're going to have to play better with these down-the-line kind of guys.
Winston dumps it off to Rodgers, and Jaquiz Rodgers works his way inside the 35, but short of the first down.
Dirk Cutter's going to send on his field goal unit here. This is sometimes in the game where a coordinator or head coach will take a shot, but he's going to send the kicker on.
Yeah, Aguayo, that's Nick Bellore, who's coming off a 12-tackle game, taking in the defensive signals, and he's hurting. Gerald Hodges looks like he's eligible to come back onto the field after that messy third quarter.
I don't know who the trainer is for San Fran, but he needs to get overtime pay. I mean, this is crazy that it's successive plays, too. Four guys going out of the game.
Yeah, Jeff Ferguson, when you and I were out at practice watching on Friday, he came over and said hi, and I'm sure he had no idea that he would have such a day.
Number 50, Nick Bellore.
You can see the helmet-to-helmet contact there, running back to Bellore. And you got to imagine that's why he's coming to the sideline now. And there's Rashard Robinson going into the locker room on the cart with what you can only assume is some sort of leg injury.
Roberto Aguayo, who's been good today. A little adventure on an extra point, but a couple of field goals made. This will be he's 6 out of 10 for his career so far. This will be the longest of his pro career, 50 yards. Brian Anger, the holder, and that's not good.
Wasn't even close.
49ers stay within a couple of scores. Remember, Dirk Cutter said he had a good week at practice, but he's got a strong leg. Just off the mark, but the Buccaneers still hold a 27-14 lead here in the fourth quarter.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL, and by Taco Bell's Rolled Chicken Tacos.
Dirk Cutter was trying to give his kicker a non-pressure situation from 50, and Aguayo missed. 49ers come out throwing, and that is a poor throw, nearly intercepted by Bradley McDougald, who already has one pick today.
Poor throw and a forced throw. But going back to Roberto Aguayo, you talked to Dirk Cutter, and I like what you said, Chris. You put him in a non-pressure situation. You got the lead. It wasn't even close. I mean, I know he likes to hit a draw with his kicks, and that thing missed by 10 yards. And yes, it's indicative of a problem across the league, long yardage field goals, but this guy's got to be better. This team's going to go anywhere.
Set a number of records in college for Florida State. Harris carries for San Francisco. Kaepernick started out on fire. He only has 107 yards passing in the game. And again, he's the 49ers leading rusher with 59 yards on the ground.
Well, I'll come back and meant to say what I said earlier. Who is the guy on this 49ers team who's going to step up and make a play when they need to? They're in the fourth quarter now. I'm standing here looking down on this field and saying, which guy is going to stand up? Colin Kaepernick can't do it by himself. One of these receivers are going to have to make a play.
Torrey Smith, one catch. Vance McDonald, one catch. Been a few drops today by 49er receivers. Looked like one of the Buccaneers jumped across the line. Here comes a flag.
Flag on the field.
Offside. Number 95, defense. 5-yard penalty remains. Third down.
Howard Jones called for the infraction. That'll set up the 49ers at the 47-yard line, and now just 3rd down and 3. Nick Ballore being checked on. Kaepernick has time and completes. The ball's knocked out. And a scramble for it. A 49er got there first, but did he recover it? And he did. San Francisco maintains possession. Garrett Selleck with the recovery. Make that Zane Beadles with the recovery after Garrett Selleck had the catch, and Vance McDonald was in there for the scramble on the fumble.
Good play by Levante David. Look at that.
Touch that out of there.
Talk about ball awareness. You know, good defenses find ways to create turnovers. And that, I mean, not that they recovered this. Good job by San Francisco recovering it. But having a ball-aware player on defense is an advantage. It's a good job by Levante David.
High for Quentin Patton.
We talk about the quarterback needing to play better. That's routine, right? Hit your back step, deliver to the sideline. You got the corner beat, an incomplete pass. That's indicative of this 49er offense, especially this 49er passing offense. 32nd in the league coming in. And there's no Joe Montana on this roster right now.
Well, that was some of the question about, you know, they drafted Driscoll, but should they have drafted a quarterback higher? With Gabbard and Kaepernick on the roster. Underneath to Patton, his 3rd catch of the game, but he won't get the first down. Bradley McDougald, the injured Buccaneer. It's been a very physical game.
Yeah, it really has. And yeah, it's just another, this is like our 5th, 6th injury between both teams. And I'm not sure what happened to Bradley McDougald here. It looked like maybe even one of his guys got the better of him. And there's Aaron Lynch going to the sideline with the ankle.
Christian Ponder inactive today, but Chip Kelly told us that he's been getting more and more reps the last couple of weeks, preparing him as if it might be his turn in the near future at quarterback. Juwan Harrison at running back. Tandy replaces McDougald at safety. Harris trying to run for the first down, but he won't get it. Some tough hits over there. Quan Alexander leads the team in tackles, delivered a big one there.
Good job by Vernon Hargraves, setting the edge there, making this play turn back, and he actually has to come off a block to do it. You see him flash across your screen right here and just create a nice little alley for Quan Alexander to make that stop.
Bucs had to call timeout because San Francisco was in a hurry to go for it on 4th down. Well, for Dirk Cutter, a return back home in just a bit. We'll tell you about that in a moment.
This game is sponsored by FedEx, helping small business simplify e-commerce.
Trailing 27-14, 11 minutes to go on 4th down and 3. Kaepernick can run for it, and he will.
There you go. Good job. Good job by Colin Kaepernick extending this play. You could tell he was going to be cautious throwing his football, but he's just got so much athleticism to pierce an edge. And if you're a Bucs defender, you know you have to stay upfield. This William Golson, you could have said he was getting held right there. You got to keep contained on a guy that can run like this.
Bradley McDougald comes back in at safety. Harris with a tough run to get down to the 26. 49ers in the bit of the hurry-up mode on offense here. They scored 14 points in the opening quarter, and you see the results since. Without a huddle, it'll be 2nd and 3. Incomplete. Garrett Selleck had his hands on the football but couldn't hold it. Would have been a terrific catch.
Yeah, that may have been the best throw that Collins had all day. Really good coverage there by Levante David, and man, 2 hands on it, almost snagged it, and incomplete.
God, Levante David doing the swim move there.
Good pictures there.
Brings up the 3rd and 3, the 27-yard line.
Three takeaways for the Bucs today.
Still plenty of time left in this game, Chris. 10.5 minutes or 10 minutes left. Need a score here. Got to get something positive going on offense.
3rd down and 3. Kaepernick can run again for the first down, and he does. This is what he does best. And he's got a 1st and goal.
Well, give him credit for standing in there, trying to find receivers down the field. Now, what he's not going to do is deliver into traffic and maybe have a contested throw, but his pocket's collapsing all the way around him. Watch Gerald McCoy get penetration right here. But Colin Kaepernick, enough patience to know that if he steps up, he's going to run away from anybody, and that's exactly what he does for that big game.
He ran on 4th down for the 1st down. He's had 84 yards rushing in the game. 1st and goal right at the 10. Kaepernick dumps it off, and Harris slips a tackle and gets knocked down around the 5.
Boy, does he run hard, man. Juan Harris, don't know who he is, but the guy has made a couple of nice plays in the open field today for this team, and I tell you, he's getting more and more ops, just more and more pressure. We haven't heard anything from Sean Drone. Mike Davis, who started, he's got 4 or 5 carries on the day. It's Harris the one's carrying the load.
From Troy, signed as a free agent last year, promoted from the practice squad for today. Had a couple of good runs at the end of last year. Harris has the football. Gets away from David and then loses yardage. The Bucs strung that out.
Well, the one thing they have on this Bucs defense is speed at the linebacker position, and if they're able to affect the backfield untouched, it's a good job. And Levante David, one of the more physical, he's undersized, but really one of the more physical linebackers in the NFL. He's always near the lead league in tackles.
A former Pro Bowler for Dirk Cutter's team. Now it's 3rd and goal after a loss of 4. Kaepernick's throw is well short and nearly at least an opportunity for an interception over there by the rookie Hargrave.
And you got to take the points right now. I know if you're San Fran, you're saying touchdown, get us back into this game, but it's going to be a 2-score game regardless.
And it's not like you need a yard or 2.
Yeah, you got to take the point. They're going to boo here all they want, but you absolutely have to take the points here and make this a 10-point football game.
Yeah, if you're the 49ers, you have all 3 your timeouts, the 2-minute warning. This can get you to within 10.
Yep.
You've got over 8 minutes. And that throw, Hargraves had a chance at a pick. This will be a 28-yard try for Phil Dawson. And he delivers. Steady for the 49ers. Just over 8 minutes in the 4th quarter. It's a 10-point Tampa Bay lead. Bradley Pinion was out there. Now Dawson, too early for an onside kick try?
You know what? I don't think so. You know, your team is, I don't think it'll be surprised onside, because if you look at the big picture here, the Bucs have, 10 guys within 10 yards of the restraining line here. But it is interesting that Phil Dawson comes into the game. Bradley Pinion's the one that usually kicks it through the end zone. See what kind of kick Phil Dawson tries to give Adam Humphries here, now back to receive the kick.
And they'll drive it to Humphries from the 6. And a return up to the 23-yard line. I mentioned before about Dirk Cutter. He's been in the NFL for quite a while. First time as a head coach in the NFL, but his first college coaching job was at San Francisco State, Division II, the Gators. Andy Reid was on the staff, and he said he's this guy from Idaho. They'd have to sell hot dogs in between coaching to afford recruiting trips. He's come a long way.
And he's really been great for the quarterback here. And You see a lot of quarterbacks go through regime changes or whatnot. Well, this is a regime change here in Tampa where he got to keep the guy most important to him. I think it's been very beneficial to a young quarterback.
Sunday! Where we go?
Rodgers carries. And for Dirk Cutter, San Francisco State no longer football is the program, but some famous alums. Dana Carvey, Annette Benning, Johnny Mathis.
Who?
What are the chances? Chances are, when we came into the meeting room, he said, you're probably too young for that.
I want you to sing that. Sing one of his songs.
Sorry,
for me, Chris.
I don't sing. I don't sing. But he sold hot dogs, so if he wanted to kill a little time here.
He didn't sell vegan hot dogs.
Only in Northern California. And that's a good thing. You eat healthier.
Ready? Blue lady. What's up?
Rodgers up across the 27. Let's check in for another game breaking. Kurt Menefee.
All right, San Diego keeps on creeping closer in Atlanta. Melvin Gordon, his third touchdown of the day, first receiving. It's now a 3-point contest, 3:41 left to go. Chris, Rondé, and Jen.
Thanks, Kurt. Amazing how the Chargers can hang in there with all the injuries they dealt with. Speaking of injuries,
we got a few. Yeah, we got Armstead, Lynch, and Rashard Robinson all out for the rest of the game on this 49ers defense.
An important third down here. Jameis Winston on the move. And completes the pass. Mike Evans, excellent job of being a target and then keeping his feet in. And by that, I mean he stepped up big to show Winston where he was.
And really, just a great job him coming back for the football here. You know, he's trying to get Adam Humphries on that choice route right there, but good coverage. But look at a good receiver. Come back, help your quarterback that's under duress, and Jameis Winston on the run again. Throws a really nice football to Mike Evans. It's amazing that a guy that they know they're going to target is having this kind of game.
Sunday. Where we go?
Rodgers waiting for an opening. Stop short of the 34-yard line. That's his 26th carry. And check on another injury here. A member of the Buccaneers.
Looks like Joe
Howley, who was out earlier and came back into the game. The veteran center from UNLV and a former Falcon. A number of those that Dirk Cutter and Mike Smith have on this roster. We hope that he's okay as they tend to him. We'll have more here in a moment. Howley again, second time today. Being helped over to the sideline with an injury, so Evan Smith comes back in at the center spot. After a gain of 2, Peyton Barber, the rookie free agent from Auburn, in at running back. Winston fakes to him and throws. Pass is complete to Russell Shepard. Second-year special teams captain of this Buccaneer team, who's been a receiving star today after Mike Evans.
Really clever play design here, and you mentioned Russell Shepard's been a receiving threat today, but really prior to that, he's been like the blocking guy. He comes in and all he does is block, and you'll see him come right here and just submarine underneath the line of scrimmage on this boot to Jameis Winston's left. Quick target for him. Another big gainer for Russell Shepard. He's having a great day here.
5 catches for him. He has a touchdown.
Even. 50. Mike 50.
Over 450 total yards of offense for the Buccaneers.
Yeah. Where we go?
Barber. And Peyton Barber. There he goes. Into the end zone. It's a Bucs score. 44 yards for number 43.
Well, just when you need San Francisco's defense to step up and make a stop, get the ball back after a score, you get exactly what's been happening to them, tapping to them week in and week out. Just a gas run for a touchdown and really good patience by the runner. I don't want to take it away from the running back, but you're going to see it come right through here. Watch the patience that Peyton Barber shows here. Hop, skip, jump, nobody there, touchdown.
First career touchdown for Peyton Barber. And his first 3 carries of his career in the last game on Monday night against Carolina. He'd played in 3 other games without a touch. But on his 7th carry of this game, into the end zone for a major moment in that young man's career. And the teammates of Jameis Winston have said to a man, Rondé, how much they appreciate Winston supporting them, being high-spirited regardless of the wins and losses. And Jameis said this week that Peyton Barber, when asked, he said he's a good teammate. That's what I care about.
Well, he has a great name, so that's a start there.
The last name or the first name? Peyton Manning called. He said, get in line.
But yes, Jameis Winston has been a very, very positive influence on his team in his 2 years here. And whether they're up or whether they're down, you know you're getting consistent encouragement from that guy. And I tell you, it's a breath of fresh air at that position here down in Tampa.
Somebody tell him he's on camera? He said, what about Manning and what about Barber? There's Peyton Barber. That's what we're talking about. In the meantime, the rush yards given up, over 230 yards. 49er defense. Now we know physically beaten down a little bit here, but the Bucs have poured it on the ground. And the Buc fans that have traveled to the Northern California area like what they see. 49ers trying to, and if they lose their 6th straight, that would be the lengthiest losing streak they've had since 2008. Bucs won twice, we mentioned, in 14 tries in San Francisco. The last win came in 2010. Troy Smith was sacked 6 times. He was the quarterback for San Francisco. And Rondé Barber, we're just talking about that name, Barber, his 40th career interception. Bucs won the game. What was important, though, the 40 career picks also made you the first and only player in NFL history with 40 interceptions and 25 sacks.
You know the other important thing about that game?
What's that?
Chris Myers on the call.
Was glad to I didn't know then that I would be working with you now. In the meantime, Kaepernick trying to rally the 49ers. And a quick pass to Jeremy Curley.
Talk about shameless plugs. That was disgusting by us.
Well, it's all tied into, you talked about how the Bucs have had trouble winning in the Pacific time zone over the years, the franchise. And, of course, earlier this year, they know what happened out in Arizona. They'll play in San Diego later in the year. But it's more about the team you're playing and how you're playing than the time zone, let's be honest. Sean Drone, who had a touchdown catch in the first half, holds that in.
And they've had a very even performance. It got off to a very slow start, but on both sides of the ball, especially on offense, they started to hit their stride, and you're just wearing down that 49er defense. And I got to tell you, this Bucs defense has really done a good job limiting the big plays other than Colin Kaepernick getting out of the pocket on his runs.
That pass juggled out of bounds and is incomplete. Well, when we were out of practice and sat down with Chip Kelly and the coaching staff, what were your impressions of his handle on this team and the reality? I know he wasn't happy with the record. Nobody is if you're a 49er fan.
Well, the reality is that they don't have enough talent to compete week in and week out if they continue to make mistakes. And Chip Kelly, I think, has done a great job keeping this team together because it doesn't feel like there's a lot of quit in this team. They still go out to practice. They still enjoy what they're doing. They just got to play better.
And they got to throw the ball better downfield. You saw the passing yard numbers. Sack, fumble there. Did he get it back? Gerald McCoy got in to force the fumble on Kaepernick, who's thrown for 134 yards and run for 84.
Well, just his first game back after that calf injury. Haven't mentioned his name much, but working on the rookie, Garnett just swims right past him, gets in on the quarterback and causes that sack fumble. Pocket has been a problem for Colin Kaepernick all day long. He's avoided some sacks with his ability to run, but just puts them in disadvantaged situations. They got a 3rd and long coming up now.
They need 14, second sack of the game for the Buccaneers. Kaepernick out of the pocket and has to get rid of it, so it's 4th down. And I'll say this about Chip Kelly. I asked him, you know, he's a straight shooter who can deadpan one-liners no matter what the circumstances. And there were a lot of rumors. I said, has anybody from a college called? He said, no, not me or my agent. This is where I want to be. I want, the record to be better, but this is the challenge I want, and I think we can turn it around.
Well, he's got to see it through at this point. Again, the roster is limited in its production at all positions, especially quarterback. It's just whether it's been Blaine Gabbert, whether it's been Colin Kaepernick, in times of need, when they have to throw and complete passes, they are just not able to do it.
Fair catch and fumbled. The muff punt by Humphreys. And he was in the shadows. You can't blame the sun on that one. Nick Valor out there without a helmet. The Bucs somehow keep the football.
Where is his helmet? I missed that during the play.
He doesn't. I don't think he notices that he doesn't have one on.
You know why? Because it's all the way on the other side of the field.
Back at the 30-yard line.
Are you telling me he ran all the way down that field without a helmet on just now? It's right here.
That's Nick Valor.
Yes, he did.
My goodness, he's got a job to do. He doesn't care whether he's appropriately dressed or not. And he didn't hesitate going after the blue football. That's the kind of hustle you want. Peyton Barber, who had the touchdown dash a moment ago, carries across the 38-yard line. Let's check in for an injury update down in the field with Jennifer.
Chris, you and Rondé were talking about it earlier. The depleted 49ers team, that's for sure. Just to round it out a little bit, Aaron Lynch, it's a left ankle. That is why he is out. Rashard Robinson, it is a knee. And Eric Armstead, it is his left shoulder. So certainly guys trying to compensate. And in fact, you were just talking about Valor. Also, Gerald Hodges, who went back in, has been trying to fire up his teammates there on the 49ers sideline. He was excited to carry a larger load this game and certainly wants to do it any way he can, even if that is serving as a cheerleader for his teammates.
All right, thank you. There's a look at Armstead on the sideline. Peyton Barber had 29 yards rushing this season before he ran 44 yards for the touchdown a moment ago. He's run for 75 yards on 8 carries in the game now. And helping to ice it. As the 49ers used a timeout before, they'll use their second one. They'll have one remaining. And it's a first down for Tampa Bay. Over 500 total yards, Rondé, for the Buccaneers today. Wow. That's not a record you want to be a part of if you're a 49er fan.
Wow. I don't even know how to comment on that. Look when they broke it from 1956. 555 rushes. That's obviously going to add to, because Bucs are in 4-minute mode here, and all they're going to do is turn around and hand the ball off to their successive runners here.
Last week it was up at Buffalo. Here it's at home against the Bucs. But you said when we talked about those 49er championship years, or if you want to go back to the Super Bowl years, yeah, they had offense, but their defenses were tough too. They got the ball for the offense. They kept teams out of the end zone.
We're seeing none of that in this current 49ers football team.
Peyton Barber getting the work now, and a timeout, the last one for the 49ers. There will be the 2-minute warning. Looks like the ball came out on the end of that. Let's see if they're ruling him down or not. And it looks like possession controlled for Tampa Bay. Small screen, stadium-sized content. You can watch live local Sunday games on your smartphone with NFL Mobile. Well, back-to-back games, Jaquiz Rodgers becoming a bigger name around the league. 154 yards. He got the Buccaneers going on offense, and then Barber, the rookie free agent from Auburn, with a touchdown run. He's added 80-plus yards. Jameis Winston with 3 touchdowns today. And what a game from Mike Evans. 8 catches and a couple of scores, and Russell Shepard helping out with Vincent Jackson injured and not making the trip.
Sunday, here we go.
Barber carries again.
Well, San Fran will have time to regroup, and I got to wonder when they come back from their bye week in 2 weeks, Chris, if we'll see major changes, whether on offense at quarterback, but something's got to certainly give on the defensive side of the ball. They said it earlier, individually, they have the talent, they have the guys and up front to be dominant, but they just haven't performed, and it's consistently unperforming.
And we are at the 2-minute warning here in Northern California. The Buccaneers, who trailed early, have dominated since and are 2 minutes away from another victory.
Fox is sponsored by State Farm, here to help life go right.
Buccaneers with 2 minutes to go on a 3rd and 4.
Blue lady, lights up.
It's Peyton Barber, and that will be 4th down. Ronnie, you were talking moments ago about after the bye week what Chip Kelly and the 49ers have to do, where they have to go. Well, they take on the Saints, Arizona, New England, then Miami. The team, 49ers, since Jim Harbaugh moved on, they have a record of 6-17.
Oh, and if you're Chip Kelly, you just got to be resolute. You got to find out what you have on this football team at all positions, starting at quarterback. And you feel like Chip Kelly, you almost feel sorry for what he's having to go through.
Do you think he'll go to Christian Ponder at some point during the season?
I got to imagine he has to get a look, right? Because it's just not getting done in the throwing game here in San Francisco, and it's just frustrating. A coordinator and head coach Chip Kelly, and his offense isn't functioning the way he envisions it.
And for the Buccaneers, who with this win will go to 3-1 on the road and 3-3. Right now, Atlanta's tied with San Diego in the NFC South.
That's important. Bucs be a game back of Atlanta, who started off so hot this season. They lose this game, and you got Oakland coming to town, and then a big matchup with Atlanta, who they've already beat this year. 3
straight home games for the Buccaneers. A great stadium out there in Tampa, and of course the Raiders. What a great, outstanding season. They won again today on the road in the Eastern Time Zone. They're 5-2 behind Derek Carr and Jack Del Rio.
Go!
Dumping it off to Sean Drone. Shows he's got some fight left in him as he gets up across the 30-yard line. And Kaepernick not even near 200 yards passing today. Well, this Tampa Bay defense, remember Lovie Smith last year as the head coach out of the picture, so in comes Dirk Cutter as head coach, and then Mike Smith, defensive coordinator. They've dealt with their share of injuries and have had back-to-back games with takeaways and been able to support complimentary football, as you like to call it.
And that's the difference. The takeaways, the Carolina game, they didn't really produce much, but those 4 takeaways really made them win. The only reason they won a close game was that. And today, when the tide needed to turn, it was because of the takeaways on defense, set up scoring opportunities. Offense took advantage in this game, where they were behind 14 to start, is almost a blowout now.
Got some strong running out across the 41 by Sean Drone. And in the NFC South, with, remember, the Falcons tied at the moment with San Diego, ready to go to overtime. That's counting the Buccaneer victory today and the Saints' loss in Kansas City. The Panthers on a bye week. They'll get the Rams when they play next. The Rams losers today and on a bye week. Coming up next is Kaepernick is sacked at the 35. Noah Spence with his 2nd career sack. Game, set, match. Dirk Cutter comes back to his coaching roots with a 34-17 win over Chip Kelly and the 49ers. We're glad you're watching the NFL on Fox. A Buccaneer win. And we'll have more from Santa Clara in just a moment.